initially when we started 30 odd years ago, we were born out of British Airways. So a lot of our members were heavily airline staff and British Airways staff. That then progressed on to getting contracts with the Ministry of Defence, the RAF, the Navy, and a large part of our common bond was made up from the Ministry of Defence. We've since expanded even further because one of our key goals is to help as many people as possible and as wide as audience as possible. So now our common bond itself covers a lot of industries across the UK, as we are an industrial credit union as opposed to a geographic credit union. And what Plainsavers aims are to be a financial partner for members. We want to help people across the board. So yes, we want to help people with prime lending, but we very much want to focus on the people who don't have lines of credit and people who are underserved and don't have anywhere else to go. So our mission essentially is to help people do better with money and make sure that no one is excluded. The principles of how a credit union operates is you'll have someone with savings and someone who needs borrowing, and it's like helping out your neighbor. So cooperatives for many years, even if you go as far back as to when villages used to help each other, one would grow one crop, one would grow the other, and then they would collaborate and they would help each other. So that's very much what Plainsavers is about, is helping the sector but also helping all the people. And our members will continue to grow. We will continue to diversify our membership and help as many people as we can across the UK. So it couldn't be more important. One of the key things that is going to help this sector move forward is collaboration. So credit unions itself, especially in the UK, make up a very small percentage of the financial community, shall we say. So less than 5% of our population are part of credit unions. That's a very small amount. There's over 300 credit unions across the UK looking to help people with savings, borrowings and other products. So to work with other credit unions will be so important. One of the things that we personally do is anything we're developing, anything we're doing, we speak and shout about it across to the rest of the sector. And any development we do, we share it so other credit unions can benefit from the exact same development. Now, I think there's definitely space in the sector for the credit unions to work better together. And what that will allow is whether there's a credit union who's got 3 or 4 people working for them, or whether they've got 40 people working for them, they can benefit from the same technology, the same platforms, and they can benefit from helping members in exactly the same way at the same type of cost. Now, one of the key things for this sector is to get better systems, especially from a back end and a front end perspective, which will allow that collaboration to go further. So to talk about Plainsavers for a second, one of the things that we've recently done is we've merged with a credit union, which was HarlowSave. And what that has allowed us to do is preserve that financial support in that area. And I think that we will see credit unions working together a lot more to help us do exactly the same thing, to help more and more credit unions who are smaller. So collaboration is key. And if you go back to the cooperative principles, cooperation with corporations is one of the key ones. Actually, it's a great time to ask that question. So the start of 2024 has been a very fast-paced start. And to be honest, with Plainsavers for the last two and a half years, everything has been very fast-paced. But brilliant timing for the FTT lending. We have just hit our record amount lent in a single month, in the month of January 2024. So we've exceeded £3 million. So our previous best was 2.2 million. So that's a massive achievement. So just take a second to congratulate and say well done to our whole team, because that is brilliant. Equally, we've got a couple of other really exciting stuff happening at Plainsavers. So we've also launched a member benefits platform, which is the first of its kind in this industry. So we want to move further from just being savings and lending, very important, but we also want to be a better financial partner for our members, and we're looking to introduce things that will help. Now, one of the things that we've also done to go back to lending is we've found innovative ways to increase our lending book, which now sits very close to 40 odd million, and a couple of years ago it was sitting closer to 15 million. We've looked at doing things like working with aggregators and working with brokers and finding different channels to help us get more lending applications. And talking about setting trends, we've also now looking at working with aggregations for savings to help improve our assets. So it gives us the ability to have more capital to lend to more people. So that's also something that you can watch out for. And very lastly, I think a bit more exciting that our members will see, we're in the process of launching a new website. So in the next couple of months, please watch this space. A lot of good things happening, a lot of exciting stuff happening at PlaneSaver at the moment. Yeah, all three good questions. So lending is something that we hold close to our hearts. As credit unions, we want to help the underserved. So, I mean, there's 2 million people in the UK still who don't have a bank account, and that shows you that they don't have the same sort of financial resilience as others, but everyone needs a line of credit. One of the things that we focused on and are continuing to focus on is to help those people who don't have the representation that others have so easily. So a lot of people can just go onto Google and they'll search for a loan and they'll have it 10 minutes later. But it's the people who need lower value lending, family loans, and they need other types of support which wouldn't naturally be available to them. So what we're working on is lower value loans for people who don't have things available for them, and that will allow them to have lines of credit, but also a big mission of ours to stop them from falling in the hands of illegal money lenders, payday loans, and paying those ridiculous percentages of 1,700, 2,000%, and give them a line of credit at a much more affordable rate and help them rather than going somewhere else. Because a lot of people who fall in these channels actually come to a legitimate source to help in the first instance. So we want to shout about what credit unions do. So I always find this a great platform to talk about that. Equally, from a personal aspect, I'm very much a nerd for fintechs. I absolutely love to see what's going on in the sector, and one of the reasons why that's so near to me as well is in the last 3 years we've very much used technology to accelerate and expedite the performance that PlaneSaver have. So embedding things like open banking, APIs for credit checks, and using other third-party fintechs to plug gaps for us. And so one of the great things about this particular event is I get to speak to other companies who are providing facilities which would continue to help us from our technological standpoint. Equally, we don't push anyone away from phones or coming into our building, so we want to have an omni-channel approach. But what I have found in today's world is making that journey smooth and using technology better allows people to get what they need at a much quicker pace. So I absolutely love coming to things like this, and I think it's also great for people who attend this to understand that the credit union sector is also an area where they have a big part to play.